Belly fat is no fun, especially if that's all you've ever known.
Excuse me, you're gonna eat that? Society blames us for overeating. While our lean friends can enjoy fizzy drinks and brioche burger buns,
We are looking at diet noodles and protein shakes, counting every calorie, blaming ourselves for having a messed up metabolism.
it doesn't help that to your face, everyone expects you to be comfortable in your own skin. But behind your back, you know they all go,
Maybe you should train a little bit more and eat a little bit less. Greedy little piggy. We've seen it on ourselves and we've seen it on other people. And now we want to show you something new. What if in just a few weeks you could take all that negative energy from being overweight and turn it into something positive and go from something like this to something like this?
in as little as 5 weeks.
And imagine how great you could look and feel if you took the same journey. In the first 2 videos of this series, we've seen our body transformation with the proof. We explained how you can force your body to burn fat,
As well as what makes stubborn fat so different and how to tackle it by addressing circulation and androgenic alpha-2 receptors. We also gave you the mini routine, which you can start for free in the comfort of your own home.
In this video, we cover diet and nutrition and explain how we get impressive results without looking at a single food label or counting a single calorie. Here's what we'll cover today. We briefly want to touch on intermittent fasting and low-carb ketogenic diets, but through the lens of our Lion protocol. And later in this video, explain why counting calories shouldn't count as much as the mainstream would like you to believe.
After you finish watching this video, go ahead and look at the other videos in our series, where we give you a full breakdown of the science, showing you what a belly fat workout should look like. We also explain our movement-first approach, the advanced science behind BellyProof muscle, and anti-aging science, or what we call club mitochondria. If you're not sure where to find them, they are linked below. We hope we can convince you to adopt a similar way of thinking and never have to count another calorie again. If this sounds interesting, keep watching. You've heard it all before, how abs are made in the kitchen, or that weight loss is 70% about diet. Think about it. When it comes to calories for weight loss, we are always told it is super simple. You figure out your baseline or maintenance calories, and then it's just a question of calories in versus calories out.
If whatever you eat and do leaves you in a deficit, you will lose weight. If it leaves you in a surplus, you'll gain weight.
You'd think this basic principle at the core of every weight loss program is rooted in human biology. It's not. It's rooted in physics, and more specifically, thermodynamics.
Of course, there must be a good reason for using physics and thermodynamics in biology. The reason is
We took a very different approach, inspired by evolutionary biology. Our approach is a low insulin optimized nutrition, or in other words, the Lion protocol. Roar!
You see, unlike you, the king of your living room, the king of the jungle is wired to do things a little bit differently.
When the mighty lion wakes up in the morning, he doesn't have cereals for breakfast.
In the wild, animals hunt when they are hungry, and in that state, they are wired for better performance.
You either fight for your life, or you flight for your life.
Your adrenaline is elevated, you can mobilize fat to be used for energy, and your physical performance is increased. In other words, when you do proper fasted training, you train like a beast. This is Adri, representing adrenaline.
So, how to be more lion? Here are the rules. First, we need to talk about lion fasting. Fasting has a good reputation, and for a good reason. But many people look at fasting through a caloric perspective.
We've met plenty of people who fast and drink diet sodas because they've got 0 calories, or look at fasting as a way to reduce calories because they've skipped a meal.
This completely misses the mark. Regardless if it's 24 hours, 16/8, or any other fasting structure. Fasting is great, but when it comes to fat loss, you have to look at it through 2 lenses and 2 lenses only.
The first is how long you fast before the workout. The second is how long you fast after the workout. The longer you fast before your workout, the less you have to deal with alpha-2 receptors. That automatically makes your stubborn fat a little easier to access.
Also, being hungry is good in that way because it sharpens your senses, like a lion before a chase.
This is incredibly important as more fight or flight means more adrenaline, and adrenaline is the primary trigger for fat breaking.
The longer you can fast before the workout and the more comfortable you are with being hungry, the sharper you can be and the better fight or flight response you can expect.
The second lens is how long you fast after the workout. If you've been busy training hard, releasing a lot of adrenaline and in turn breaking fat,
then you can expect to have a lot of fatty acids in your bloodstream available for you to burn, use as energy. The moment you eat and break your fast is the moment your body puts the brakes on and fat burning stops.
If you finish your workout at 8 AM and decide to eat breakfast straight away because you've worked really hard for it, you can expect fat oxidation to end at that point and all those free fatty acids to start making the slow process back to the fat cells, a process known as re-esterification.
By cutting short the oxidation of loose fatty acids in the blood, you are hindering a lot of potential fat loss. If you decided to skip a meal and held off for a few more hours, you wouldn't be cutting this process short and you would be burning a lot more of the fat you worked so hard to break.
So, the first and most important rule of the Lion Protocol is to train on an empty stomach. Minimum 10-hour fast before training, longer is better. Then, hold off for as long as you can before having your first meal of the day. So, for example, you eat dinner at 7 PM, you go to bed 10 PM, wake up and train 7 AM. That's 12 hours of fasting prior to training, which is great.
If you finished your training at 8 AM and held off eating your first meal until noon, especially if you're moving about, then you're really doing well.
You're a good lion, Nosy. The Lion Protocol is incredibly flexible and almost anyone can do it with their daily schedules. What you should do depends on what you can do. We have tools to help you configure an optimized routine that fits in with your life. And yes, we included a version of this in the free mini routine we shared in our first video.
To understand the second rule, we want to cover low-carb diet approaches like Atkins, Paleo, and Keto.
Different diet styles call for different macros, and even there you can find different schools of thought. Keto calls for up to 20 grams of net carbs, but even keto, while a sustainable way to break and burn fat, misses the bigger picture.
To get what we mean, you have to understand what ketones are. They are being sold as fuel, as if you operate on ketones, but it is far more accurate to say they are a byproduct of the breakdown of fatty acids in beta oxidation.
So, are ketones good? Yes, ketones can indicate that you're burning fat, so it's a good sign.
Ketogenic diets, however, look at how they can create higher levels of ketones in the blood via dietary ketosis, which misses the bigger picture. If you restrict carbohydrates for long periods of time, your body will have to find fuel elsewhere, and inevitably, this will result in some fat breaking and down the line, some fat burning. Yes?
Staying in that state of ketosis for a long time can be a way of losing fat.
But this is a poor way to achieve fat breaking. You can achieve 10 times the amount if you just understand how ADRI, your fight or flight heroine, interacts with your beta receptors. A keto diet would be great if you didn't have the option to structure a proper exercise routine for fat breaking and fat burning. For example, if you were injured. Otherwise, there are far more effective ways to get results. Other low-carb diets like Atkins or Paleo achieve a similar purpose by depriving your body of fuel. They're not bad, but they're only playing a supportive role. In our Lion Protocol, we have 2 meals a day. The first one is a late lunch we call the super awesome BellyProof salad, a chance to consume a lot of nutrients without cooking them with a 10-gram net carb limit. Then, in the evening, we have a more substantial meal. This time we allow up to 60 grams of net carbs. Think roast potatoes. So, our second rule is to have less than 70 grams of net carbs per day. Not nearly as low as 20 grams on a ketogenic diet, but by no means a high-carb diet.
We also aim to include some good dietary fats and protein. Although, as with calories, we feel they don't need counting. It's easier to manage your diet if you're not counting every single thing.
The only exception is for those of you who prefer a plant-based diet, in which case we recommend supplementing with a little bit of protein and the likes of L-carnitine. We have a system built right into the website that makes it incredibly easy to manage, especially if you're working with a meal plan.
The third and final rule is to eat real food. Lots of veggies, meat, seafood, eggs and dairy. Stay away from processed packaged foods or ready meals. If you can, try and get hold of fresh, good quality ingredients, organic if you can afford them.
We also ask you to steer clear of wheat products, and in the interest of keeping your gut happy, to reduce gluten, yeast, lactose and the likes, although they don't have to be eliminated completely. Similarly to how we don't micromanage your calories or macros, we don't tell you how much to eat either. This doesn't mean all you can eat, and it doesn't mean starving yourself.
It means take it easy and listen to your body. And stop eating not when your plate is empty, but when you no longer feel hungry.
In the very real world, there are no exact ways to calculate exactly how much you should eat.
The Lion Protocol has a few simple rules.
Fasting, carbs, real food. These are the 3 rules.
But wait, we've heard there are a few new fad diets we haven't tried yet. What about every diet that's ever worked for anyone? Like the ketogenic paleo cabbage diet? Melody, my dear, are you okay? You look a little pale.
I'm doing the ketogenic paleo cabbage diet and I feel freaking great. The way it works is every time you think about bread rolls and biscuits, you scream. If you don't mind real food and without the added fluff, the Lion Protocol is probably one of the easiest diets you can follow. It was designed specifically for the BellyProof fat loss program
to enhance fat breaking, fat burning, and to reduce the activity of alpha-2 receptors, making sure you get a good balance of nutrients to support your body.
That's all you need to know about the Lion Protocol. It's that simple.
The next part might be interesting to a lot of you. We've already explained how burning calories and expanding energy really is not the same as burning fat. With everything we've talked about, you might be wondering how it all sits with calories in and calories out. Did millions of people and fitness gurus all get it wrong?
What about metabolism and your BMI and your smartwatch telling you how many steps you took? Like good old shit.
Our answer is yes. Calories definitely work until you realise they don't. Here is what we mean.
First, the reason calories work is because of what they represent, a better lifestyle. If you're counting calories, you're not likely sitting on the sofa eating cupcakes all day, and more likely focused on healthier training and eating. Will that help weight loss? Absolutely, at first.
If you don't eat well and or exercise, the concept of counting calories can be enough to really motivate you to form a better lifestyle with a better diet and more exercise.
And that will absolutely help weight loss. But it's not the calories themselves, it's the better lifestyle choices you made. We want to raise a few interesting issues with counting calories, and the first is the obsessive count itself.
Has anyone ever told you about the 20% margin of error acceptable on food labels? That means the 1,000 calories you thought you ate today could easily be 1,200 plus, legally. And you can bet your sweet cheeks it's often a lot more than that.
On the calories outside, you didn't really think there was a proper formula or an app that can calculate your energy expenditure accurately, did ya? It's just based on very generic numbers.
Calorie counting is addictive, and it's a great way to get people to think about what they eat and how they exercise. But it really doesn't add up.
That lovely ready meal you just microwaved said 400 calories. Legally, it could have been 500. Whoopsie.
And the treadmill did say that 10-minute run was 100 calories. Jeez, that felt like more. What about the diet soda you had with 0 calories? Did you really believe that 0 calories on the label means 0 inches on your waist?
And sometimes when you eat more, this happens. Surely, that must count as calories out.
So, calorie counting. You can't really do it because they don't really add up. But thanks for playing the game anyway. Some days you eat less, train more, and life is good. Calories work.
We then have those days where you can't quite find the logic, which is where the idea of metabolism usually kicks in. Metabolism is the ultimate excuse.
Usually, when calories don't add up, if you're doing well, you get accused of, oh, he must have a high metabolism. Or if you're not doing well, oh, it's because of his low metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of all reactions in the body, thousands of them, including fat breaking and fat burning.
Want better results? Focus on these key biological reactions and stop worrying about the calories they amount to.
For the purpose of fat loss, you can't burn calories, you can only burn fatty acids once you've broken them first. Same as, you can't store excess calories, you can only store excess blood sugar in fat cells.
It's also good to note that as a rule of thumb, one of the main reasons most people are taught to think low calories are healthier has to do with outside influence from the sugar industry. We want you to ask yourself a question.
The body creates fat from glucose, which you get mostly by consuming sugar and carbs. That's why low carb diets are so popular, because they give the body less glucose to store as fat.
Sugar and carbs are low calorie, 4 calories per gram. Fat, on the other hand, is 9 calories per gram.
How many people do you know that are drinking diet sodas while eating their calorie-friendly ready meals, trying to avoid fat and get lots of good carbohydrates like bananas and wholemeal bread, while replacing nasty sugar with diet-friendly artificial sweeteners?
Or in other words, consume less calories.
Who are lean and live a healthy lifestyle. Compare that to something like paleo or ketogenic diets. How many people do you know who eat real food, higher in fats, with less carbohydrates and sugars?
Or in other words, higher calories.
Who are terribly ill and obese.
Gram for gram, higher carb diets, as preached in the famous food pyramid, are low in calories, but are extremely bad for your weight. The opposite is true for low carb diets, which are higher in calories. So, doesn't that go against the laws of thermodynamics? Surely, if you have a higher caloric intake, you're going to be fat and obese. It doesn't add up.
If you know any calorie addicts that have been doing it for years, or maybe you've broken the laws of thermodynamics yourself, like a common criminal. Perhaps you went out on a binge one night and didn't wake up obese. Or maybe you've been chugging back the fizzy soda drinks with 0 calories, but still didn't wake up with a six-pack. We invite you to share your story in the comments section below. Okay, let's wrap things up.
If by calorie deficit you mean not overeating, exercising, and living a healthy lifestyle, then yes, these are essential and you won't get far without them. It's what you do that counts, not the calorific value of those actions.
At the end of the day, you can't store calories as fat. You store excess blood sugars, mainly from carby foods. You can log it as calories, but the body can't store calories.
The same goes for fat loss. You don't burn calories. You either burn glucose from glycogen or you burn fatty acids from fat cells. Calories don't dictate when you release adrenaline to break fat. They don't control blood circulation or when you move those fatty acids into the mitochondria to be burned. They don't even control hunger. That's ghrelin and leptin.
In a way, calories are a great idea when you're not sure what to do. They can guide you in the right direction, helping you think about the foods that you consume and the amount of exercise that you do. But remember,
calories are just a system to log energy intake and expenditure. They can't be used to control your body fat levels. In reality, if you limit yourself to calories alone, you can guarantee your results will be limited as well.
And this is why lions don't count calories, and neither should you. What do you think?
Are you going to rely on calories going forward, or go lion instead? Drop us a line and let us know in the comments below.
Also, if you think this is interesting content, we would love it if you subscribe to our channel and ring the little bell.
As well as show us some love by clicking the like button. In the next video, we are going to dive into the workout structure and explain the biggest strategy to go from this to this in as little as 5 weeks.
As well as blow the lid on what Tess, Adri and Gramona do for fat loss. And until next time, stay... Dear Diary, day 1, and I've removed all fattening foods from the house. And it was delicious. Join us in the next episode where we talk about the sciencey stuff. You will not be left hungry sneaking into the kitchen in the middle of the night.
I'm freaking starving.
What in the world?
Melody, no!